thoughts on karma and dharma. Hello again. I'm Mari Swaruu. Thank you for joining me once more, and welcome to my channel. The concepts of karma and dharma change a lot from author to author, and when used within a religious context even more. The true or initial meanings have changed a lot, especially because they've been twisted by countless people throughout time, who for lack of better words use them to describe their contexts and their ideas, with it also causing the meaning to change constantly. Language is fluid and it evolves throughout time in a dynamic way, almost as if it had a life of its own, as the result, or as a mirror of the society that uses it, so in a way this is to be expected. But as I have come to find, the most used concept attached to the word karma is that of a punishment, or as a fixed consequence of having done wrong things. This is an extremely simplistic explanation as it is far more complex. As it has also been defined, yes, karma is more of a consequence, as in a set of behaviors, will bring about, or cause another set of events. Karma is usually linked to negative outcomes, and the consequence of a set of actions is taken as in something fixed, as a fixed result. For example, if you break the law, you will be punished, or as in if you place your hand in a fire, you will get burned. But karma can also be linked this way to positive consequences as well. I would define this description in likeness to a computer program that is using the logic diagram, if, then, else. But there is a much deeper meaning of karma, or of living in karma. And it is to relinquish the control we have over our lives. To live by the rules of others and in a fierce state of mind, as in fearing punishment from whoever rules and controls our lives. Those who the people think control their lives, would be religions most obviously, overlords and governments and all their laws. Laws that have been designed for their advantage and not for the benefit nor for the protection of the general population. And much less have been created to enforce any type of real justice. All human laws have been created by those who control all governments, by the cabal, and by their minions who knowingly and unknowingly make lesser laws always following the rules of the larger ones imposed upon them, and ultimately for one reason only. To control the general population, exactly as in a human farm. And all those rules, of all kind, are designed to keep the general population in a divided state, and in constant fear with a catastrophic perception of reality, all to keep the frequency of manifestation of the population mass as low as possible, to be able to continue to exploit them in every possible way. As the population in this state can only collectively manifest exactly what the controllers want. That's why there is always something bad constantly happening all over the world, but it doesn't even mean those bad things are necessarily happening. That is what the controllers want the collective to think, in order to create a low vibratory state of mind that in turn will manifest low frequency things, but not necessarily those exact things they are claiming to be occurring. To live by the rules of others, and to abide to their rules with no personal criticism, nor with any personal responsibility over the real implications of following them, and existing by the moral and ethical standards of others, naively assuming that those others have their best interests in mind, is to live in karma. Because they are abiding to the set of consequences that those controllers have attached to their set of actions, as if no other better choice existed. That would mean that the subjects falling into this would have no personal criteria, and no personality at all, because they behave exactly as clones of one another, with nothing in mind but to obey all the set of rules that have been imposed upon them, and I mean rules starting with laws, ethical and moral standards that are socially accepted, and even ending with what many would call laws of nature, or universal laws. To obey all this with no real personal thought also is to blindly accept what is possible and what isn't, using only the criteria that others, those in power, have imposed onto the subject. All this above is to live in karma. And then consequently what follows next is to live in constant guilt and even fear of the actions that the person perceives as it having not followed those rules correctly. And it is this fear of punishment and guilt that will undermine the subject's self-esteem and ultimately cause the person to fear grave punishment after death, and to cause the subsequent reincarnation, as I explained before in another video, as the subject's perception is that it has many so-called bad deeds to pay, because it was not enough of a good person in its past lifetime. Again, all this when the person is assuming that those who imposed the laws upon him or her holds an ultimate truth, and also holds the correct ethical and moral standards that must be followed. But then we have another set of people, those who follow their own path, those who bother to think on their own, and who have enough brain and nerve to create their own set of standards about everything. I'm not referring to those people who can be called anarchists, who blindly go against the system, and against just about everything, always thinking that they are fighting their oppressors, but with that attitude they are only feeding the system they claim to be fighting against. Because all those groups are heavily infiltrated, some even created deliberately as controlled opposition, therefore they are part of the same system, of the same matrix. I am referring to the people who know that their ethical standards they live by exceed by far those of the official people and institutions, those that claim to impose their standards upon the general population, claiming it to be for the greater good. People that are strong enough to create their own standards and live by them, in accordance to what they think and personally believe, and in a service to others mentality as the result of an effective and responsible service to oneself, have an extremely strong connection to source and logically have a greater life force, that in turn means that their manifesting capacity is also a lot stronger and more effective. Personal responsibility over oneself and over one's soul creates a stronger connection to source and therefore vastly augments their manifestation capacity, in direct proportion to the subject's frequency of thought. As I mentioned before, service to others on earth cannot be well achieved without an effective and responsible service to oneself first, to act as a base from where to be able to help others. If you just give yourself to others, in service, soon there will be no one to serve others, as you will end up collapsing in exhaustion, serving those opportunistic others that exploit your good intention. In this case it would be convenient to create communities, where people who truly are into a service to others mentality to be able to serve one another in a sane cooperation, with everyone looking into the needs of the others, who in turn hold no intent of exploitation, and will reattribute the first like so. And with communities, I don't necessarily mean people who can live together as in a village, although that too would be great, but also like-minded people who can work together even thousands of miles apart. To live in karma is to simply obey everything that is imposed upon the person, acting in fear and in guilt. To live in Dharma is to live by who we truly are. Karma is the set of consequences of another set of actions. And many of those consequences can be very artificial and ethically wrong when seen from a higher standard and more enlightened point of view. Dharma is to embody who we truly are and all our attributes, everything that defines our true self from our personal point of view, and with full responsibility over all of it. Dharma would then be to live by who the subject truly is, building its soul in the process. To live in Dharma is to live the path of enlightenment, as it forms and creates its soul. And as observed from above, ethical standards change and evolve as the subject expands its consciousness and awareness. If you want to help the world, and make it a better place, work on yourselves, work on your souls, raise your frequency and manifest beautiful things. All of you free thinkers out there who are truly making a positive change, and you don't even have to fight in any traditional way. All you have to do is be your best version, Manifesting a great life for yourselves, you change your personal world for the better, and the world will change around you and your loved ones. Thank you for watching my video. With much love, Mari Swaruu.